Assalamu alaikum, my name is Tasneem and I'm from Brisbane in Queensland, and I've just recently converted to Islam 1.5 years ago. I was never like all the other kids, you know, like going out, having drugs, going to the movies. I was always really quiet, and I was pretty religious, spiritual, and I was always searching for something, like the truth. And I was in Brisbane, and Shahelia, my friend, he was in Perth, and we used to chat on the internet, mainly about cricket, because we used to go on the cricket internet chat, and we used to go there and just basically talk about cricket. But religion started coming into it later on, because I found out he was a Muslim and I was a Christian, and I was doing an assignment at school, because I was going to a Christian school, and I had a Bible class, and I had to do an assignment on a different religion, and I just happened to choose Islam. And so I knew that Shahelia was a Muslim, and so I was asking him questions, you know, what does Islam believe? What are the 5 pillars of Islam? Who was Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And I kept on wanting to know more and know more, and after a while I just found it just so amazing, I just had to convert. I accepted Islam in my heart in July of 2000. And I had to keep it all to myself, because it wasn't the right time to tell family then, and I was just learning about Islam slowly, and we organised for Shahelia, my best friend, to come over to Brisbane, and there we'd go to the masjid, and I'd accept Islam properly with the imam. Then the 3rd day of his arrival, we went to the masjid, and I converted, and we were discussing how to tell my family. We were discussing how to tell my family, and first of all we told my mother. She didn't take it too well, and she said a pretty harsh comment, which I can't really forget. She said, if I knew you wanted to become a Muslim, I would have had an abortion, which was pretty harsh. But after that, I sort of spoke to her, and she settled down. And she sort of accepted it. She was even willing to go look at the religion herself, which was really good. When we told my father, he was pretty fine with it as well. Shahelia one night told my father. I was actually sick that night, but he told my father, and he was fine with it. But the next morning, everything sort of just changed, and it was mainly because of my grandparents, because they are very strict Christians. My grandfather is pretty much a pastor of his church that they go to, and they sort of talked with my parents, and they really sort of brainwashed them, and ever since then they've been really harsh on me. They wouldn't let me become a Muslim. Shahelia Sufi had to go back to Perth, and when he left, my dad said to me that if I ever went to the masjid, and he'd bring the police. I wasn't a Muslim, I was just pretending, you know, I'm going to just forget about the religion. But in my heart and in my mind, I was a Muslim, and I was still researching, reading articles on Islam, and going to different websites and just talking about it with others. Well, I knew that I couldn't live Islam like this just in my head. I had to practice it practically. So basically I said to Shahelia that I want to basically move out. We went through quite a bit of a struggle, and Shahelia, he's done so much planning, you'll never believe it. You know, he stayed up for so many nights trying to plan and organise, asking people for money and donation in order to help me get to Perth from Brisbane. We researched legal websites to see how old you have to be to move out, and We know that 16 is the legal age, and what my family are doing is quite wrong. So it is legal to move out. So we researched everything, and we planned everything, and eventually got the money. And Jahelia came over to Brisbane in just December in 2001, and we saw each other secretly. I was pretending I was going with a friend to play cricket at the cricket nets, but I was really deceiving my family and going to the masjid with Jahelia, because I hadn't been to the masjid in a whole year, you know, and it was really good when I was at the masjid and praying properly. There's a huge amount of difference, you know. The whole idea for me to move from Brisbane to Perth was to experience this difference. In Brisbane, I was not able to practice Islam at all. It was all in my head. Even prayers I had to do in my head. I couldn't do them. I couldn't pray Salat physically. Ever since I've come to Perth, I've been able to go to the masjid all the time, you know. I've been able to pray properly 5 times a day. I've been able to pray all the sunnahs and all the nafils and witr and everything. Just been able to eat properly as well, eat good food, eating curries and things. Because in Brisbane I wasn't given too much food, because my mother was quite harsh on me ever since she found out that I was a Muslim. And now I can actually eat properly. I'm gaining weight and everything, and I'm meeting so many good new friends, you know, Muslim friends of course. It's just a great environment. I'm in the right environment now. Before I was in a kafir environment. I was getting bad ideas into my head, going to a Christian school, but now, alhamdulillah, I'm enrolled actually now at the Australian Islamic College in Kewdale. And so when I go for my year 12, my education there, I'm going to be in an Islamic environment all the time. Before accepting Islam, I was I was going out with friends that didn't really like me, but I still went out just to have fun. I used to watch a lot of movies that had dirty things in them. I didn't really go out and have drugs or anything, or I wasn't like any, you know, normal Westerner. I was still pretty religious at the time, but I wasn't deeply religious. I know I was in the wrong faith. I was in the Christian faith. I didn't even really go to church, actually. I sort of just stayed at home mostly, but I did go out a lot, and I used to hang around with friends quite a lot. But after Islam, I've really just wanted to research so much about Islam, and I've read so many articles, and mainly when I was in Brisbane, I mainly just stayed at home because I didn't really want to hang out with those people. They were quite bad, and they sort of influenced me in bad ideas, so I kept away from them, and I kept to myself, and I was researching lots of Islam and talking to Sharia. He was giving me lots of things to read, good things to read about Islam, and he was actually lecturing me myself, because he's quite qualified. He actually studied in South Africa with Ahmed Didat, because I couldn't actually practice Islam in Brisbane properly even after my conversion. I just had to move here, and now I'm wearing Islamic clothes. Before I wasn't, before my conversion, and even in Brisbane I wasn't able to wear good clothes like these, you know. It feels really great to be able to wear this and use miswak on your teeth and be able to pray. It really is a different lifestyle, cultural habits as well, being different foods that are better for me now. I like it a lot better like this. I converted before September 11, so I didn't have I didn't have anything to do with jihad or bombings in my mind. Even I did speak with Shahelia about why do some of the Muslims actually fight and call it jihad and stuff, and everything was explained to me, and I totally accepted that in my mind, because we have a reason for it. We're actually being oppressed, and I actually learnt the truth, because all of my knowledge beforehand was from Western media, and they really deceive you. But when I converted, I didn't really think of jihad at all or anything. That was sort of brought into it after. And the main reason why I converted was because it was the truth, you know. It was proven to be the truth. Every single point in Islam, in the Quran, in the Hadiths, just makes so much sense. There's not a single fault. Anyone that tries to bring up a fault can be proven wrong. Even I tried to bring up faults in Islam before when I was a Christian, and jihadi just proved me so wrong, and that was the main reason for my conversion. I think people who want to convert because of jihad and bombings and stuff, I don't think they've got the right idea. I think they should really see what's beyond that and see the reasons why we're doing this, you know. Well, when we were first planning it, we actually sort of decided that we would go by car. Shahalia and his friends, Rohan, Fahim and Sabaruddin, would come by car over from Perth all the way across to Brisbane. And when my mum would go shopping, we would sort of just sneak out, pack as much of my stuff as possible, put it in the car and go back. But we couldn't really use the car for a number of reasons. One, we got in a big crash and it didn't work, so we sort of had to really make up a new plot, and we thought that the best and quickest method would just be to go by plane. And so Shaharia just got some money. He asked a lot of people for help, and he was able to save up money and buy e-tickets with Qantas. And he'd come with another brother, another friend of ours, Rehan Khan, and they'd go from Perth to Brisbane. They'd stay there for 4 days. Then Rehan actually would have to leave early to go to Melbourne earlier than us. We'd go a few hours later, but we'd all meet up in Melbourne, and then we'd go on the same plane from Melbourne to Perth.
Ramadan beckons us to give our zakat, an important fard and a pillar of Islam. Several fatwas of distinguished scholars of Islam worldwide state that zakat can be given to support a non-profit Islamic satellite channel whose aim is to spread the truth of Islam. Every dollar you contribute helps Peace TV to refute allegations against Islam, misconceptions about Quran. What better choice do you have to spread the truth of Islam than Peace TV?
Support Peace TV. Send your zakat and donation to Islamic Research Foundation International, Islamic Bank of Britain, Coventry Road, Birmingham, UK. Account number 011-32301, sort code 300083. Please confirm your contribution at support@peacetv.org.
Peaceful, 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 peace.
Peace TV, the solution for humanity.
I never thought it would be so easy to acquire my dream property in the UAE. Thank you, Maraika. At Maraika, we just didn't buy a house, but a home.
Maraika Real Estate. Invest your present for a safe future.
Adam, Idris, Nuh, Hud, Saleh, Ibrahim, Ismail, Yaqub, Lut, Shuaib, Yusuf, Ayyub, Yunus, Musa, Iliya, Dawood, Sulaiman, Yahya, Isa, Muhammad, peace be upon them all.
Since Adam, there have been many prophets, some with big miracles. Join us for Stories of the Prophets.
Watch Yusuf Estes in Stories of the Prophets, starting 19th October, every Friday and Saturday at 4 p.m. Saudi Arabia and 6:30 p.m. India on Peace TV.
That was the idea. They bought the e-tickets, and Shahadi actually bought me a mobile phone so we could keep in contact secretly, because the only phone that I had in my house was the home phone, and that could also be used by my mother. So I didn't really want to use that phone. I wanted to use something that was more private, and Shahadia sent over a mobile phone, and that had some credit on it, and we were able to speak on that. We actually talked a lot on that and used secret SMS messages in case my mum was around. When they came over here, that was our main source of contact when we weren't together. On the first day, the first few days, all the days actually, when they were here, I was just secretly saying to my mother that I'm going to the cricket nets just to play cricket with a friend. And I actually did go to the nets where Shahadia was waiting for me, and he actually hired a car from one of the brothers who was staying in Idikaf at the masjid. He hired a car from him, and he was able to pick me up from the cricket nets, and we'd go to the masjid and stay there for the whole day. And during that time my mum thought that I was playing cricket, and we did this for the next all the days. And on the last day, when it was time for me to leave in the morning, we had the same idea. I'd just pretend to go to the nets and everything, but during the night someone actually rang and said, there's this person who is going to kidnap your son. This guy actually was talking to my mother. He rang the home phone. He was saying that he was talking to my mother that there's some guy, he's going to kidnap your son and he's going to take him to Afghanistan and go on jihad. And that really was a huge lie. Whether it was a Muslim or not, we don't know, but whoever it is, we should kill them. They're a big traitor, for sure. They actually it was a complete lie, but it was enough to make my mum really scared and try and prevent me from going to the cricket nets the next day, which was the day that I had to go and escape and fly to Perth. So I tried as much as I could just to calm her down, saying, oh, it's a crank phone call, don't worry, I'm fine. It was probably some guys behind us that were playing cricket, and I dropped my phone number. I was just saying stuff like that, and she eventually believed it. In the morning she fell asleep, and I packed as much stuff as I could. And in my cricket bag I took some books, Islamic clothing, Islamic books of mine. I just took them all, put them in the cricket bag along with my cricket gear, and went off. Met Shahadia there, he was waiting for me, and from there we went straight to the airport, off to Perth. And when we were flying from Brisbane, when we went to the airport, we actually had to wait about 4 hours until our plane departed, and we were really scared. We thought, oh no, what if my parents come and see me? So we actually had to hide in the airport toilets for a few hours until our plane was ready to depart. Once we left the toilets, we went, we boarded the plane, and we thought we were fine. But when we arrived in Melbourne, there were police waiting for us, and they were just asking, what's going on? Are you being kidnapped? And I said, no, I'm not being kidnapped. I'm going at my own free will. I want to get out. I'm legal age. I'm allowed to move out of home. And they said, all right, oh, cool, okay, fine. We just wanted to know. We thought you were being kidnapped. Your mother rang the Queensland police and said her son was being kidnapped or something. And the Melbourne police were really friendly, and they actually contacted the Queensland police saying, oh no, look, everything's fine, he's going to his own will, he's legal age, and they let us continue, alhamdulillah, and from there we just went, oh wow, okay, we're lucky here, we were quite scared at the time because the police actually separated us, and we weren't sure whether they were going to see each other again. But after that, we waited, and after they let us go, we waited in Melbourne for about an hour, and we met up with Rehan, and he went with us in the same plane, and we went back to Perth, and there we met up with the other two brothers, Fahim and Sabaruddin, and that's how it all happened. At the moment, my main purpose is for me and Shahelia to go to Saudi Arabia, study there, give dawah. If there's anyone who would like more information about my conversion, or anyone who would just like to contact me, or we could exchange emails or exchange letters, just contact me. My address is TL_GLOVER@hotmail.com. We can just discuss Islamic issues. It'll be great to have other people's input about this situation which I've experienced, and it really helps my iman to lift high when I hear other people and their comments and views, and I hope to lift other people's iman as well, sharing what I've been through. It'd be great if any people have any questions, they could just email, and we could have discussions over the internet. Yeah. I was a Christian in the past, and the actual sect of Christianity was Seventh-day Adventist. I believed in it at the time. I used to go to church on and off, but my grandfather, my grandparents were quite strict Christians. My grandfather was actually sort of a pastor at the church. He sometimes gave sermons, and they were Seventh-day Adventists. What they believe in is similar to the Jews. You could say that they're Jew wannabes. They want to be like the Jews, but it's sort of Christianity and Judaism mixed. They worship on the Sabbath or Shabbat, but they also believe that Isa alayhi salam was the son of God. Astaghfirullah, that's shirk. That's actually one of the things I used to believe in, and despite being quite religious, that was my biggest ever sin, shirk. I used to believe that Jesus was God, Jesus was the Son of God. I used to believe that the Holy Spirit was part of God, and I used